Well, that was bleak. Horror movies don't always need happy endings, but The Woman in the Yard definitely goes for one of the more depressing conclusions I've seen in a while. Whether that works for you or not will probably depend on what you want out of this kind of story. Some people are going to love how uncompromising it is, while others might feel like it undercuts the experience. Either way, it's the kind of ending that lingers with you long after the credits roll.
Today's the day. Today's the day.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about The Woman in the Yard, the latest horror film from Blumhouse and director Jaume Collet-Serra. If you don't know his name, you've definitely seen some of his work. He's the guy behind Orphan, House of Wax, Black Adam, and a bunch of those Liam Neeson action thrillers. He's a director who knows how to craft tension and style, but his projects can be a bit all over the place in terms of quality. And with Blumhouse behind this, I was cautiously optimistic. They put out some of the best modern horror, but also some of the most forgettable. So where does this one land? Let's get into it. Before we dive into the review, if you're enjoying this content, make sure to hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more movie reviews, rankings, and deep dives. Plus, if you want to support the channel even more, check out my Patreon. For just $1 a month, you can support the channel, and for $5 a month, you can even request a review. Every little bit helps, and I truly appreciate the support. Link in the description below. Now, let's talk about The Woman in the Yard. Ramona is devastated by grief after her husband dies in a car accident, leaving her alone to care for their 2 children in their rural farmhouse. Her sorrow soon turns to terror when a mysterious woman dressed in black begins appearing on her front lawn, ominously warning, "Today's the day." As the strange figure slowly moves closer and closer to the house, Ramona realizes that she must protect her children from the malevolent woman who refuses to leave them in peace. Starting with the positives, the acting is strong across the board, with Danielle Deadwyler delivering the standout performance. She really sells the psychological unraveling of her character, and while she plays a character who could be seen as unlikable at times, it actually serves the story in a meaningful way. She's a deeply troubled and grief-stricken character, and Deadwyler brings so much nuance to her role that even when her character makes frustrating choices, you still understand her perspective. This is a film about paranoia, fear, and desperation, and Deadwyler conveys all those emotions masterfully. On top of that, the cinematography is genuinely impressive. There are some unique angles and shot compositions throughout that make this a visually engaging film. A lot of modern horror films rely on generic setups, but this one plays with perspective, framing, and movement in ways that elevate the material. There are some unsettling sequences that work purely because of how the camera is used, making even the most mundane moments feel eerie. The atmosphere is also built really well in the first 2 acts. It leans into daylight horror effectively, which you don't see very often, and that unnerving feeling sticks with you. Instead of relying on darkness and shadows, The Woman in the Yard creates dread in broad daylight, making you feel uneasy even in scenes where nothing overtly terrifying is happening. This kind of horror is difficult to pull off, but it's one of the film's biggest strengths. Now on to the stuff I was mixed on. The ending. I won't spoil anything, but I can already tell this is going to split audiences. It gets very dark, almost nihilistic. Now I don't mind bleak endings in horror, they're pretty common, but something about how this one played out left me feeling lukewarm on it. It's not just that it's dark, but that it feels like it undercuts some of the film's build-up. Some will find it bold and fitting, while others might feel like it lacks proper payoff. If you prefer your horror with a glimmer of hope or resolution, this might not be for you. In getting into the negatives, while the movie isn't long, it still feels like it stretches its concept too thin. There are stretches where the pacing really drags, and honestly this might have worked better as a 40-minute short film. Some sequences repeat the same beats without adding much new, and while I appreciate slow burn storytelling, this one loses momentum in spots. I also felt the third act scares were pretty predictable. There are a lot of formulaic jump scares, and you can see most of them coming a mile away, which takes away from the tension. The first 2 acts rely on subtle dread and atmosphere, but by the time we hit the final stretch, it starts leaning on cheap scares. This shift in approach makes the ending feel less effective than it could have been. Also, the marketing for this movie is a little bit misleading. The trailers make this seem like a supernatural horror film, but it's much more psychological. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but if you go in expecting ghosts and paranormal scares, you might be disappointed. It's a case where the movie itself is solid, but the way it was presented might lead to some people feeling misled. If you're expecting a straightforward supernatural horror, you might leave feeling underwhelmed. The Woman in the Yard certainly has its strong points, with its effective performances and tension-filled atmosphere. However, it falters when it comes to pacing, and its predictable third act and controversial ending might leave some viewers unsatisfied. And in the end, I'm going to be giving The Woman in the Yard 3 out of 5. Overall, I think the movie is worth a watch for horror fans who enjoy a slow burn psychological thriller, but it's definitely not for everyone. And before I wrap this up, I have to get something off my chest because I can't be the only one who's experienced this. So I went to see this movie in theaters, and I kid you not, I had a group sitting near me who brought their kids and proceeded to talk through the entire film. Laughing, chatting to the screen, making obnoxious noises. Honestly, it was like they thought they were at a family gathering, not a movie theater. And just as we're getting to the intense climax, a lady in front of me pulls out her phone on full brightness. Seriously, what is it with people these days? I get it, life's busy and maybe you're checking the time, but can we just agree that common courtesy should come back to movie theaters? It really took me out of the experience, and it's a shame because I was really trying to get immersed in this film. So if you're going to the theater, please just be considerate of others, okay? Having said that, what did you think of The Woman in the Yard? Did the ending work for you, or were you left feeling unsatisfied? Let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoy horror reviews like this. It really helps out the channel, and I've got plenty more horror content coming soon. Plus, if you want to support the channel even more, make sure to check out my Patreon. For just $1 a month, you can support the channel, and for $5 a month, you can even request a review. Every little bit helps, and I truly appreciate the support. The link is in the description below. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'm going to see you in the next one.